first thing we got to talk about is the stadium expansion, renovation, beautification, all that stuff. $13.7 million deal, I guess. Tell me about all that.
It's been much needed for a number of years, but yeah, we finally the community actually came to us and said, "Hey, it's time." We have completed most of our buildings in the district with our 1 cent sales tax. Abraham, Lincoln, and TJ have been renovated. All of our elementary schools have been renovated or in the process of being renovated. We still have to get to our middle schools, but with the stadium in the shape it is, it was much needed. What the project's going to entail, there's 3 phases. Phase 1's already a go, which is going to be a new 8-lane track and field turf football field, track, fully automatic timing, all the bells and whistles. We're not trying to take any shortcuts. That's going to be done by the start of school. Thomas Jefferson Place, St. Albert on August 28th, so it'll be ready that night. Phase 2 will be the big construction phase. It's going to be all the amenities around the stadium, including a brand new locker room building that will sit on the south end, concessions, restrooms on the north end. Our softball fields are both going to be renovated right now. We share a softball field with TJ, competition field. We're going to have 2 brand new softball fields with a nice 2-story concession, press box between them. Our 2 soccer fields, added on to the field turf stadium field. We'll have 3 altogether, but they'll be renovated. New parking lots. Basically, everything on school district property is going to be renovated, made first class. The last phase, still up in the air on a timeline there. We are requiring some properties, both residential and commercial properties, that is going to be a nice entryway off 16th Street. So working with those homeowners, making it right for them. When that process happens and when it's done, that 3rd phase will start. So there's a nice entrance to the facility. Something that our kids can be proud of, something that we'll like to show off to the visitors from Des Moines that come in, Sioux City that come in, and around Southwest Iowa.
Well, you mentioned Des Moines, Sioux City. Kind of transition to this next question about being a 4A, 5A school. On this side of the state, there's 5, sometimes 6 schools, so it's tough.
You know, it is tough. It's we don't shy away from it. We know that's where we should be. We're 4A in all boys sports, 5A in most girls sports that have that classification, and thus the majority of the teams in that classification are Central or Eastern Iowa. It's us basically in the Sioux City schools on this side of the state. It's one of those. It's a tough. Some perceptions are out there. I'm not speaking for anybody specifically, but there's perception in Des Moines if we play strictly a Southwest Iowa schedule that we're not trying to beef up our schedule. So we will try to get to Des Moines as much as we can to play tournaments. For instance, this summer softball, we're hoping for a great softball season. We're going to go to the Valley tournament. We're going to Dallas Center Grimes tournament, trying to get some notice in Central Iowa, get the respect of those schools. So it is tough being over here. Travels. It's always funny when someone complains about traveling over here. We travel all the time, so it's just part of the gig. So trying to gain that respect, whether it be regional pairings, whether it be all state selections or all district selections, it's something that we always struggle with. But we do what we can with our scheduling and our budgets to get to Des Moines as much as we can.
Speaking of that respect, I think you earned a lot of it this fall with the volleyball team. And that you didn't have it already because that's been a great program, but hadn't won a game down there in a little while, or I shouldn't say down there, over there in a little while, but got the win in a classic. It was a great volleyball season.
Tremendous ball. And we've actually had a great year at Abraham Lincoln. Great senior class, a lot of participation in our senior class. Volleyball starting out this fall, state semis, and ran into a really good team in Ankeny Centennial in that semi. Moving into winter sports, our boys basketball team had a tremendous season. Came an eye hair away from beating North and getting to the state tournament, which has been the first time in many, many years. Tennis is having a great season this spring, and like I said, we're looking forward to the summer sports, both softball and baseball. So it's been a great year all around. It's something that we're always building, trying with youth programs all the way up through the high school programs, so that we can get all our programs to that level.
I want to stay with volleyball here real quick. Sam Bonet is already at Creighton, a Division I player off that team. She's a midterm grad. Can you tell me about the volleyball program and kind of it's been right there at state or close to state for I don't know over a decade probably, and it's Brittany Ridenauer was maybe one of the first teams there. But I guess talk about what goes into all that.
It goes back to youth sports. We have a strong club volleyball scene in Omaha, Council Bluffs area, and a lot of our girls going all the way back to probably middle school years, maybe even before that, join those clubs, and they do get a lot of volleyball in. And there's good coaching. They come up here. Brittany's done a heck of a job. We had Coach Carson before that, so getting them to that level where they can play to that level. We're going to lose a good senior class. I think you'd put me on the spot here. I think we have 5 or 6 of the 9 that are going on to play college volleyball. So that is a pretty strong class. That's going to be tough to duplicate in future years. But hopefully, with the strong club scene and girls playing volleyball, that continues.
You mentioned the basketball year, the boys basketball year, very, very close loss in the sub-state final to Sioux City North. And that's all right. Jason Isaacson's your coach. Yes. Similar deal with Brittany Ridenauer, who was your volleyball coach. Great AL player in the past, and they come back. Is that something you look for when you're hiring coaches? Is because they know what challenges and other things they have?
It's a huge part of it. It's tough to find high school coaches. I'm probably not the only AD that would tell you that. It's almost becoming a profession where, with everything else that goes along with it, whether it's keeping up with their kids' eligibility, making sure they behave in the classroom and outside the classroom, and all the hours that are put in. We did make a conscious effort a couple years ago that we needed some buy-in. We needed coaches that are going to come here, believe in the school, believe in everything about it, really build programs. And what better than successful alumni? And we've had a lot of success with some successful alumni, whether it be Brittany, Jason Isaacson, Val Halligan. She's a TJ grad, but again from Council Bluffs, doing a great job with their softball program. Really trying to get people bought in and be 100% behind the program. Can't speak enough about Jason Isaacson, the job he's doing. I don't know if there's a harder worker out there. He works, it's nonstop. He runs a lot of the AAU stuff behind the scenes. In the fall, he's in the gym. In the summer, working individually. He's not going to take any shortcuts. He knows what it takes to be successful. So the job he's doing with our boys basketball program, and then you can see that when that kind of effort's put in, the success that happens on the court. So.
Ongoing right now, it's spring season, stands out to me as the boys tennis, and anybody else who's paid any attention. I guess maybe they've lost 2 games or 2 matches or whatever, but they haven't lost any duels. I guess, is this a team, do they feel like they can contend with anybody right now?
Again, it's one of those scheduling. We haven't got to Des Moines as much as we should have. We're going to go to the West Des Moines Valley tournament next year. We've got invited. It's a pretty select tournament, so we're going to be trying to make that track to compete against the CIML next year. Who knows? To be honest with you, when you get into Des Moines, it's a different level. So we have districts on Thursday, so we're going to see. Hopefully, I think Coach Wilder, again, another coach who's done a tremendous job building the program. If you drive by a day in the summer, he's on those courts working with kids all summer. So and really a lot of buy-in in tennis here, both on the boys and girls side at AL. So we'll see. It's up at Johnston. Johnson, I know, will be a tough team. Waukee will be a tough team, but Coach Wilder thinks they can do pretty well there, and then we'll see what we can do on the team side. But hopefully have an individual, if not a doubles qualifier, too.
Thinking about Kyle Crowell in that situation, we talked about basketball, big-time three-point shooter, great tennis player, and then this upcoming summer, he's a Division I baseball recruit. How does he and the coaches and you and everybody else kind of weigh all that out and balance that all out?
In fact, we're meeting about sharing athletes just now. Everybody wants their hands on them in the summer, so it's one of those deals. You try not to put the kid in the middle, and our coaches do a nice job. For instance, right now, tennis is priority. So Coach Larson, even though baseball practice started last week, understands Kyle's tennis commitments and working with him. And when you have a Division I talent on your baseball team, you're willing to, if he misses this or misses that because of tennis. But he comes from a great family, great AL family, and does a great job in multiple sports up here, and really works at all of them. So many athletes that are multi-sport will focus more on one than the others, but Kyle really understands that if you're going to be successful at multiple sports, you have to put the time in multiple sports. So if he's not hitting the tennis ball, he's up on the baseball field, and if he's not up there, he's shooting baskets and working on his individual game in basketball. So he puts a lot of hours in the summer.
Definitely. I just kind of want to transition into you a little bit. Tell me about yourself in terms of, how long have you been here? How'd you get started? What got you interested in getting into this administrative and athletic fold?
Oh, wow. I'm not an Iowa guy originally. I'm Bellevue East grad, 1991. fact, the last state championship Bellevue East team over there, we were state track champions. So a track and field athlete by nature. Ran at Hastings College for 4 years out there, central Nebraska. But the reason, I was a math teacher here at 8 years in the district, 6 at AL, was head track coach here for most of those years. Really got into this because the influences in my life, whether it be my high school coaches or high school teachers, were the ones who I looked up to. They were my role models and wanted to follow their lead. So it's really all I ever saw myself doing in college, being a math teacher. And then when in coaching track, I did take a 3-year sabbatical in the middle. I went back over to Bellevue, was a dean of students at Bellevue West and a head girls track and cross country coach over there. But when Miss Shelberg, our former principal, called me with the AD opening, that was 10 years ago. This is my 10th year back. It was a no-brainer to come back to AL. So enjoy it. Best parts of the job are still the interactions with the kids. And granted, you don't have those in a classroom or coaching one-on-one, but whether it's in the hallway, whether it's in the cafeteria, whether it's at the athletic events, that's still, to me, the most important part of the job is the education of kids in a different way as an administrator, but seeing them get the benefits that I did in high school. So that's what drives me. Every year's different. Everything's new. I always joke that I should write a book. Most ADs could, or most administrators could. It'd be a pretty interesting book. But love Abraham Lincoln. Live a block away right up the hill, and my wife teaches at Kern, and love it here, and hopefully stay here for a long time.
One thing you forgot to mention, you have a daughter named Devani. Where'd you come up with the name Devani?
Well, I am a Husker fan. I know most Hawks around here. I get accused at AL. Most of our away uniforms are red, and most of our parents think it's because of my Husker love. But actually, and if my wife watches this, she'll kill me. But she can't make decisions, so we were joking. We did not have a name for our daughter. And it's about 2 weeks out, and I'm just throwing around Husker names. I threw out Sue, S-U-H, and all these other ones, and I threw out Devani, and you know what? It kind of clicked, and she turned 3. Our son's name is Miles. Nothing to do with Tim Miles, because really we didn't think that at all. It just was the name we liked. But if you know my background, everyone thinks that I'm a crazy Husker fan naming my kids Devani and Miles. But they keep me going. It's the job is hard enough when you're a single guy, but then maybe being married 5 years ago and now having a 3- and 1-year-old, that the family aspect takes first priority, and trying to work to raise a good family and have that quality family time with the AD is challenging sometimes. But I have great assistants here, great assistant principals, great staff here at AL. They cover events, and we have a good time doing it.
One final thing, kind of a tough question for you. Go out on tough question. If you being a Nebraska guy and you've seen both sides in Nebraska, Iowa, if you could change one thing about Iowa, maybe it doesn't have anything to do with Nebraska, but what would you change in the sporting realm?
Oh God, great question. I think about this all the time. I could give you a couple right off the bat. I'm a big, and the state's actually talking about this. I don't know how public it is, but they are talking about maybe moving some spring sports out of the season to free up some athletes. Tennis, we talked about how successful our tennis, but scheduling tennis is a nightmare when you have boys and girls in the same season. So I would like one of them, boys or girls, I do not know, to move to the fall just for facilities issues, and give kids another opportunity. They're talking about maybe with golf. We already golf in the fall, so it wouldn't be a big change for us. We love golfing, boys golf in the fall. It is a nightmare for us because none of the 3A's or 2A's golf in the fall, so we're driving to Des Moines all the time to golf. I think track and field being my background, I'll answer it there. I think both states have it right a little bit. I love the 400 hurdles. Nebraska runs the 300 hurdles. I don't understand that. Iowa doesn't have the triple jump. When I was at Bellevue West, I coached the triple jump. It's one of the best events in track, and I get frustrated that we don't have it over here. But I think both states have some things right, some things that aren't right. But I like Iowa. I'm an Iowa guy now, and they do a lot of things right. I really like that the association, the union have come together in the last 5 to 10 years and co-ed track meet and working together more. I think that's just better for kids. I do like summer softball and baseball. It gives kids more opportunities. Not that we have that many 4-sport athletes, but we've had a couple great ones come through here. You talk about our volleyball program being successful. If we would have fall softball like Nebraska, both our programs would struggle because we have shared some very, very good girls both in the softball and volleyball realm where they would have to choose. So even though it adds more hours in the summer and sometimes you hate being on the fields all summer long, I think Iowa does it right having those 2 sports in the summer.
We're one of 2, so we've got it right. Jeff, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
No, I appreciate all the coverage. I know you guys are busy at KMA, but you always give us outstanding coverage, so I really appreciate it.